How's it going, y'all? It's Nixus here. And this morning I woke up and was made privy to some information about a certain YouTuber who's garnered a little bit of criticism as of lately. So I did what I always do. I ear hustled, and then I decided to do my own research because I like doing my own research and forging my own opinion on things to see what's going on. And the parties in question is a channel who has risen up through the ranks in the reaction community, or in like the analytics community, I guess, the breakdown analysis news channels, I guess. I don't really know too much about what she does, but it's a channel by the name of Absa fucking Lootly. Now, of course, since YouTube is very strict on their censorship over swear words, obviously it's abbreviated. But the other parties involved is a reactor by the name of Keto Abashi. If y'all don't know, he's a pretty prominent reactor, pretty prominent YouTube reactor. He also does raps, he battle raps. He reviews battle raps. He hosts his own like battle rap stuff. He hosts battle raps between other battle rappers on his lives. So, other YouTuber in question is Charles Brown. Charles Brown is another news slash reacting channel. He's risen up through the ranks as well. Everybody in the, I guess, underground YouTube reaction community, they're all very close knit, and the communities and the people who are involved in those communities overlap a lot. There is a lot of overlap. It's like a big old spider web of people who know people from this live, and people who moderate for this live, people who know people who know people who know people from this live. It's a lot more connected than you realize. It's not just, they're not all separate. So the thing that's been happening is Keto Abashi has recently been hit with a cease and desist from Absa-fucking-Lootly's channel on the grounds of harassment and copyright infringement because of some jokes that he made about her in a previous live, and I guess he may have used a clip from her YouTube videos or something. I'm not too sure because that live has since been taken down. By the time I was even made privy to this information, the live had already been taken down, so I couldn't go back and find it. Also, Charles Brown has also been hit with a cease and desist from the exact same channel on the grounds of copyright infringement, which includes unlawful reproduction, distribution, and or displaying of content owned by Absa-fucking-Lootly. But the specific phrase that was used was, it constitutes infringement under 17 of the U.S. Code, Section 501 of the U.S. Copyright Act. So I did a little bit of digging into said Copyright Act. 501. 501 is basically saying that unlawful reproduction, distribution, and or displaying of content is strictly prohibited and is on the grounds of legal action, is basically what that's saying. But Section 107 to 118 of the U.S. Copyright Act it underlines fair use. Whereas this is a crucial limitation allowing for the use of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. But here's where it gets kind of tricky. Copyrighted material that's posted by other people is still within grounds for legal action, even if you credit the person who the copyrighted material belongs to, because it is their intellectual property. They have copyrighted that material, and so it is owned by them. And unless you have explicit permission from them, if you post this or if you reproduce this content in any way, shape, or form without their permission, they are within their grounds to sue or submit any kind of legal action. They can issue a cease and desist as kind of like a warning, but it also prohibits you from mentioning this person's name, mentioning their videos, their likeness, and it's not technically a restraining order, but kind of. But 106 is telling you what it grants the copyright owners the rights to. They are with the copyright owner are within their rights to reproduce their work, create derivative works based on the original, distribute copies of their work, publicly perform their work, and publicly display their work. So like post it on YouTube, post it on websites, forums, advertise it, all that sort of stuff. They are within their rights to do that because that is their copyrighted material. If anybody else who isn't the copyright owner does any of these things without their permission, then it is considered copyright infringement by law. However, the exception to that is the fair use clause, which is section 107. And it says it allows for the use of copyrighted material. So if you're reporting on it, if you're adding something of value to it, if you're adding your own opinion, so like reactions, the whole reason that reactions technically fall under fair use is because they're not playing the whole thing. They're constantly pausing, they're constantly giving their opinions, they're giving their advice, they're talking about history behind the music or behind the whatever work they're reacting to. They're breaking down the lyrics, they're analyzing the subtext. So it's stuff like that. That falls under fair use, which is what Keto Abashi was doing, because from what I know, from what he said, he didn't really delve that deep into it. And yeah, he roasted her. He roasted her. Yeah, we ain't even gonna sugarcoat it. He roasted the fuck out of her. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the art of the roast is lost on a lot of people nowadays. Like, if you get roasted by somebody online, I don't even take it as a personal offense, because I don't know, I've said this in past videos, man. Like, if they don't know who you are, it's all based on surface level shit. It's all based on, physical appearance, stuff like that. Like, roasting for the sake of playful roasting. And that's how black people do. We roast each other. We ain't even gonna sugarcoat it. We roast each other. That's like our initiation to see if you're cool or not. We'll start roasting you. Like, if we know that you could take a joke, then we'll be like, all right, cool, you can hang out at the cool kids table. You're good. But like, if you can't, then I'm sorry, you lost respect. You're a dork. You're a loser. You're a crybaby. A whiny crybaby. And I'm not saying that to anybody in particular. I'm just using that as a reference. Going back to my point, after watching a bit of Absa's content, I can say that without a doubt she does know her stuff. She is not just out here putting out a bunch of bullshit. She does back up her claims and back up her reporting with facts, with research, with receipts, all of that. She's very well spoken. Although she kind of talks slow. She kind of reminds me of myself in a sense, because I tend to talk kind of slow sometimes, especially when I'm recording, because it takes me a while to get my thoughts into focus, because ADHD problems, it really be like that. And sometimes I need to take a second in between my sentences, because a lot of times my brain moves too fast for my mouth to catch up with. So I have to try to compensate, and I got to kind of sit there and dwell on what the fuck I'm about to say. But also in my YouTube videos, the stuff that I say is I choose my words very carefully. We'll say that. Because I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I'm not trying to say the wrong thing and piss off a bunch of people. But today is different, because I kind of stopped giving a fuck. Because I know what I'm seeing here. I have the facts, and I know what the facts say. So I'm not really afraid of what people are going to say. So we're just going to go ahead and continue. But it is evident from what I've been seeing on her channel, from the limited amount of free content that she has on her channel, I'll get into that later, that she does care about the stuff that she reports on, because nobody puts that much time and effort and research into subjects if they don't care. But we're going to move on. I did take notes for all of this. I have a long list of notes. So in order to keep this video as short as possible, we're just going to go ahead and get through these notes, alright? Okay, Keto Abashi makes jokes at people's expense. Yes, he is a roaster. He is a comedian. That is what comedians do. They roast people. It is like breathing to them. But here is where the problem lies. While a good subset of the consumers receiving this information know that it is a joke and that it's all in good fun and that he's not serious, from an outsider's looking in perspective, who has never consumed the content and who doesn't know Keto's personality, they won't understand that it's a joke. They'll think that he's serious. They'll listen to him insulting this woman's appearance and like comparing her to the likes of fucking Peabody from Peabody and Sherman and fucking Tyler Perry, and they'll be like, oh, he's actually serious. He actually really hates this woman. When no, he doesn't know her. He's just roasting her because that's what we do. And that's not even counting the overly loyal stans who will go as far as to, attack that person who's in the line of fire, like for real, as some sort of twisted validation of their loyalty to the other channel. We'll use a dog as an example. Like, it's like a dog seeing his owner play fighting with a friend, and the dog doesn't understand that it's just jokes. They're not serious. He doesn't understand. He's not reading the room correctly. He doesn't understand the tone. And so the dog, thinking that his owner's actually in danger, will go and attack the friend, like for real, not knowing that they were just fucking around. It's the same way here. It's the inability to read, process, and understand tone. And that takes me to my next point. Keto did issue an apology after Absa's fan base came after him in the comments for the things that he was saying about her. And that video has also been taken down. I did watch that video because I wasn't sure what the hell was going on. I didn't know who the fuck this Absa bitch was. I only saw her face a couple times on my YouTube feed. And I saw she did a collab with Deciphered. Love Deciphered. But, I don't know, for the most part, I just kind of stayed away from her stuff because I didn't really know who she was. And I'm not even going to lie, she looked kind of goofy. I'm not going to front. She did kind of look like a little Medea, or like an alternate universe version of Medea. I'm not even going to insult this woman's appearance, and I'm not insulting her. That's my raw, unfiltered thoughts, man. I'm telling you, this is it. I'm just saying. God, don't strike me down. I'm just being honest. I know y'all saw it too. I'm not the only one. But I'm not even going. I'm gonna tell y'all, when I was scrolling through my feed and I saw that woman's face, my first thought was, Tyler? Is that you, Tyler? Let me stop before she sends me a cease and desist. Actually, no. At this point, I don't even fucking care if she sends me a cease and desist. Just cease and desist these nuts, bitch. Anyway, where the fuck was I? Keto did issue an apology, and while that apology may have seemed half-assed from a professional standpoint, because Keto is not a professional person, not even in the slightest. He carries an aura of professionalism when it comes to his work, yes, but in the terms of, his reactions and his videos and talking with his fans and everything and talking with his subscribers, he's anything but professional. He's a clown. He's a clown. He's a class clown. It is what it is, and I'm not using that in a negative connotation. I'm using it in the way that, the class clowns always goofing around. They never quite take everything seriously, that kind of thing. But here's what you have to understand. Keto is a comedian. Especially, you have to understand about comedians. He has ADHD. He said it so many times. I heard him say it like 5 times in his live. He's got ADHD. He is a comedian with ADHD. And you have to understand of people with ADHD, especially people who love comedy, who also have ADHD. Comedy is a coping mechanism. And this is just science, okay? I'm about to learn y'all something. Come over here. Lean closer. I'm about to learn you something. Comedy is a coping mechanism. It is a way for the human mind to decompress and make light of otherwise stressful situations in order to protect their own sanity. It's why people sometimes laugh at awkward situations and awkward silences, uncomfortable situations. It is a reflexive response to increased levels of anxiety in order to de-stress so that the brain doesn't get overwhelmed and they don't become overstimulated. Using a dog as an example again, we are on a dog motif today. I don't know if this is a sign, but we're definitely on some kind of dog motif. When dogs get stressed out, they lick/bite things. That's why dogs will lick your face whenever they get excited. It's their way of releasing their stress, because dogs are just like balls of stress. They're stressed out at literally everything, any and everything. because they're always on alert. They're always acutely aware of their surroundings because of their hearing. They are always ready to react to something. And so when they get super excited, they have to lick/bite something, or else they get really, really stressed out. And they get stressed out a lot faster than humans do. I mean, let me tell you that. Like, they'll start shedding and fucking tearing shit up and everything. Like, if you would come to your house and you see that your dog done teared up everything in your room, it's because they're stressed. It's because they're anxious. And they don't have any they don't know how to release it. They don't have an outlet like humans do. It's the same thing with comedy. It's a natural de-stressor from the weight and burdens of life. It's also why the term laughter is the best medicine is such a true statement. It quite literally is medicine. It's for the brain. It's your brain producing the necessary endorphins in order to elevate your otherwise deflated mood. But here's the thing. With people with ADHD, comedy is not just a hobby. It is a lifeline. It's a way to keep themselves sane and focus on the world around them. The same way music acts as an emotional and spiritual tether, people for comedy and for comedians and people who love comedy, comedy does the exact same thing. But, and here's the caveat, freedom of speech and freedom of expression. While Keto's comments can in fact be perceived as hurtful and potentially harmful to somebody's image or their brand or their properties, we, as American citizens, are protected under the First Amendment. We, protected under that amendment, have the inalienable right to speak our thoughts and opinions freely and without censorship. This does not include comments or expressions that are direct violation of state and or federal law, which brings me to my next point. Consequences. Yes, you have the freedom to do or say whatever the fuck you want, but what you are not free from are the consequences of said words and actions. Keto was well aware of the consequences of what he was saying. He was well aware of the consequences of his actions. Like that's a given. He was made aware when, this bitch's subscribers and her fans or whatever was in his DMs and his inbox and his comment section, basically saying, "Oh, don't mess with this Absa bitch. She's the real deal. She'll fuck you up, homie. Don't say anything. Don't talk about her. She's the real shit. Like, you better watch what you say." He understood. He knew the consequences of his actions. But hence why he put the apology out there in the first place, was because of these people in his comment section defending this woman that he was just making jokes about. Like, defending her like she was some sort of boogeyman or something. I don't know. It was the same way people were defending Kendrick when Drake was going off on his shit. They were like, "Don't talk about her like that, bro. She's really the real shit. She ain't the one to mess with." Like, really gassing this bitch up. And they're the one, and they'll deny it, of course. They'll be like, "Oh, we didn't say that," but then, like, the comments are right there. Like, the physical evidence is literally right there in the comment section, so whatever. It is what it is. The fact that he recorded the apology video in the first place just shows that he did show some sort of remorse, because even though the apology video was extremely joke-ridden, the intention behind it was pure. He acknowledged that he fucked up. Whatever the fuck he did, I still don't know. To this very day, somebody will have to educate me on that, because I really do not know what the fuck he did. I know his side of the story, and then also what other people in the comment section were saying. That's all I really know. But he acknowledged that he messed up, and he, in his little ADHD comedian way, was actually trying to de-escalate the situation, apologize for his actions, and, apologize for how he came across, because he's like, "Yeah, man, I came across wrong. Clearly I pissed her off. Clearly I pissed off her fans. And so, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to patch things over and tie everything in a nice, neat little bow." And he even complimented her. And he was up there singing Negro spirituals. Like, you couldn't get more goofy than that. But, like, you could tell the intentions were pure. He wasn't trying to roast her or anything. He even called her cute. I knew he was lying his ass off, but, like, he still called her cute. Like, he was very obviously trying to be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk about you. Now that I'm looking at you, you kind of cute. I'm not even gonna lie. There's no hard feelings. It was just a little jokey joke between me and my subscribers. If you want to collab sometime, we could do that." And then he started singing "This Little Light of Mine." I don't know why the fuck he was singing that song. Like, I don't know why he was getting in touch with his ancestors in that video, but clearly it didn't work. It did not work. Because after that, he was hit with a cease and desist. Important note, that cease and desist was sent after the apology video was released. And both the apology video and the initial one that I guess was issued the cease and desist have both been taken off of YouTube. You can't find them anymore. Not unless you saved the video or you clipped it while you were in the live. It's not there anymore. So here's where the root of the problem lies, and I had to do a little bit of digging for this. Absa's content is copyrighted. All of it. That is the problem. This immediately sets her apart from other content creators. Because it's not just about producing the content for the sole purpose of the benefit and enrichment of others, but it's literally about milking the community that you claim to be benefiting and enriching for a paycheck. And it's like, even if you do bring something of value and substance to the table, you're not going about it correctly. You're basically doing the big pharma the shady organization way of doing it. Like, you're all of this knowledge and all of this information and all of this personality that could be shared with the community that you claim to care so much about, you're locking it behind a paywall and you're making people pay money for it. Which, that's fine. Like, I understand you're trying to protect your Creative Commons and your creative works and all, but like, in a world where content creators have to constantly battle the very same platform that they use in order to generate income on a daily basis, every day, copywriting your channel to such a degree, sorry, I can't fucking talk today, only leaves room for conflict of interest between you, the creator, the copyright person, and other content creators whose shit is not copywritten. Yes, it gives you unprecedented creative control of your own properties, but at what cost? Attacking other creators who want to shine light on your content and get your name out there and show their support and spread your stuff to other communities. It's not the way to go about it, sweetheart. Like, you have to understand, YouTube is a corporation, yes, but the people in the YouTube platform, it's not a fucking business. It's a community. That means that there's real people developing real bonds who only use YouTube as a physical medium. And so by corporatizing your channel to this extent, especially so early in your YouTube career, you're only alienating yourself from not only your fans and your subscribers, but other content creators and their subscribers and their fans. So you're pretty much making yourself an island at the very beginning of your YouTube career by overly corporatizing your channel like this. And I know you're like, come on, Nix, you aren't you being a little harsh on her or whatever? You know, she's intelligent. You know, don't we gotta lift up our black queens or whatever? You know, she's very intelligent. Don't we uplift our black queens, right? Yes, you're absolutely right. I agree with you. From what I've seen, she knows what she's talking about. However, there's a big however. It's kind of hard to sympathize with her as a fellow YouTuber when 90% of your fucking YouTube when 90% of your YouTube content is locked behind a paywall. Like, and y'all think I'm using 90% as, you think I'm exaggerating. No. Out of like 190 something videos, I kid you not, at least 160, 170 of those videos are members only. And for those who don't know what YouTube memberships is, it's like Twitch subscriptions, where you have to pay them monthly in order to gain access to exclusive content. That's what the purpose of it is for. It's for exclusive content, not your main content. Like, you're doing it completely backwards. You're doing all of your main shit and locking it behind a paywall, and then your throwaway behind the scenes, your extra shit, you're making that free to the public. All of the super long live chats and shit, you're making that available to the public. But all of your condensed, edited down, viewer friendly, algorithm friendly videos are locked behind a paywall. That's not how you do business here on YouTube, sweetheart. Let me educate you for a moment on how, on how consumer relations work on YouTube. People are always going to support you. It's okay to have a means for people to support your channel. It is going to happen eventually, whether you want it to happen or not. If you have a personality that people are attracted to and the shit that you are bringing to the table is of substance and is of value to the community that you are trying to appeal to, they will want to support you. And a lot of times that means monetarily. However, people should not be forced to give you money in order to gain access to your main viewer digestible content. At the end of the day, in my opinion, you should not have to pay for knowledge, especially in the economy that we're in right now. Like, people are literally losing their fucking benefits. People who are working for the federal government haven't been paid in over a month. Like, why the fuck should we be paying you for literally anything? What do you bring to the table that is like, yeah, I could pay you, I'll pay you this amount of money for your main content? Because at that point, you're not a YouTuber anymore. You're a streaming service. The human part has already been eliminated. Like, I don't want to fucking pay for a streaming service. I already pay for YouTube so I can gain access to these people on YouTube for free. I'm not going to fucking pay you just to see what you're bringing to the table. That's not how that works. You have your free content that's short and digestible, and you put that out first, and then you give people the option, give them the option to support you through other means. Like, you are quite literally robbing your subscriber base. You're grifting them. Yes, while Keto's comments come off to the foreign viewer as crass, mean, or even misogynistic, in the end of the day, they're fucking jokes, bro. You know how many people are in his chats? There's men and women in Keto's chats. It's not just a sausage fest. Hell, some of his moderators are women. Like, nobody was attacking your channel directly. The corporate savvy thing to do in this situation would have been to, 1, reach out to the creator personally and suggest a collaboration, and 2, actually go through with said collaboration in order to clear up any misconceptions the two of you may have had, thereby eliminating the possibility of any animosity that may have been brewing between you and the other creator. Henceforth, it would have also brought the two communities together. It would have promoted both of your content to the other person's subscriber base. So there would be even more of an overlap in fans. And so the community would grow stronger because it would connect with other people in said community, and thereby the community expands, because that's what a community is. It's, one family seeing another family and having a big old cookout together, and then a third family from across the street is like, ooh, that looks like fun. Can I join in? And everybody's like, sure, come on. Everybody is free. It's nothing but love. And what you're doing is the complete opposite of that. I'm sorry if your channel was subjected to any sort of copyright infringement in the past. No channel should ever have to go through that level of, blatant theft on their material. But you also have to understand that there's a difference between theft and fair use. And, by doing this, you've become the very thing that YouTubers swore to destroy ever since this whole advertisement, ever since the, what the fuck was it called? The adpocalypse, ever since that bullshit started. Like, do you know how many content creators have to fist fight the very platform that they make videos for on a daily basis because of copyright claims and copyright strikes and demonetization and age restriction? Do you know how many popular YouTubers on this platform make little to no money on YouTube? Like, they make their money through third-party means. So what, you thought that assimilating yourself into the very same system that constantly bullies its own, that bullies its own creators daily and constantly tries to extort them for their earnings, just them trying to make an honest living. You really thought assimilating yourself into the machine was going to help you? Like, well, yeah, on paper it does help you. You know, from a data standpoint, from a numbers standpoint, yes, it helps you. But from a community standpoint, you've already cheddar bobbed yourself, because now you've made yourself a part of the corporate machine. And for the real people, especially the underground YouTube communities that are way more intertwined than what you realize, you have now made yourself in opposition. You have made yourself an enemy to the very people that you claim to care so much about. So, those are my thoughts on this situation. The video ran a little long, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm just speaking my facts. I'm speaking my truth. This is a lot of notes that I had to take, and I did all of this in like maybe 2 hours. But honestly, it's stupid. It's stupid. And it's like, if you like her channel, sure, whatever. You're entitled to that. I'm not going to say don't subscribe to her channel and don't consume her content. Like, you're within your right to do whatever the hell you want. But all I'm going to say is that this was not the move. And Charles, you didn't deserve that either. Because literally when I went into what he did, all he did was put a clip of her content and even put her name, her YouTube handle on top of the clip in question. And he still got copyright strike for it. Or he didn't even get copyright strike. He got a cease and desist, which is way bigger than a copyright strike. At least with a copyright strike, he could just take the video down and it's water under the bridge. No, cease and desist is a little more aggressive than that. It's like, if I ever see you mention my name or my content ever again, I'm going to fucking sue you. That is what a cease and desist is. So the fact that she went this aggressive against people who were literally just trying to spread her channel to their own fan base, to recommend her content to their subscribers, to get people more interested in what she had to say, I'm sorry, you did the wrong thing. You fucked up. And no amount of cease and desist is ever going to change the fact that you cheddar bobbed yourself, Mrs. Tyler Perry, because that's what you look like. Now I gotta get petty. You look like a gender-bent version of Tyler Perry. You look like if Tyler Perry had a sex change. Okay? And them veneers, I'm sorry, they're not helping you. They only made your lisp worse. Like, shit, my teeth are fucked up beyond comparison, and even my S's sound clearer than yours. Like, I hate these people that think that just because they got veneers in their mouth that automatically makes them pretty. Like, no. And then they got these ugly ass lips where they talking like Poindexter. Like, I gotta joke like this. Then don't touch me, guys. I'm gonna send a cease and desist. No, you sound goofy. All your asses come out SH. Out here sounding like a bunch of Mike Tysons. I'll be sending the cease and desist. That's what you sound like, bitch. Now I gotta call you a bitch, because that's what you did. You done cheddar bobbed yourself. You done made yourself an enemy. You done became the very thing that we as a YouTube community have sworn to stand against. And as Kendrick said, stand for something or fall for anything. When you start issuing copyright strikes to people who are just trying to promote your content and, you know, help you and give you, like, I get it. You're like, oh, whatever. I don't need people to support me. I can support myself. Okay, keep that nasty ass, stank ass, arrogant ass attitude, because you're going to have that attitude alone. That's all.